Hello everyone. In this video, you and I will create the following scene in Blender within an hour. Right away, I want to warn you. This lesson will be very simple, so if you are not familiar with Blender, you can safely proceed to learning it. Here, everything will be very simple. I will be showing all the stages, explaining the hotkeys, and also those keys that I name will be displayed on the screen. And even in case you have any difficulties, you will be able to ask in the comments about those points that remained unclear to you. And without long introductions, I suggest moving directly to creating this scene. Before we start, in case you open Blender for the first time, by holding down the mouse wheel, we can rotate our camera. By scrolling the mouse wheel, we adjust the scale. We can also hold Control and the mouse wheel and thereby adjust the scale more smoothly. And by holding Shift and the mouse wheel, we move our camera. All other actions I will be voicing as the lesson goes along. And also here on the bottom left, we see a widget that prompts those hotkeys that I name. And now with the A key, we select everything in our scene. We delete even the cube. We will now add it anew. It needs to be this way, otherwise nothing will work out. Using the delete key, we delete the collection here, and with Shift plus A, we bring up the menu for adding new objects. We add a new cube into the scene. With the N key, we open the side panel, and here we need to change its parameters. Along the X and Y axes, we will set 12.5 meters, and along the Z axis, we will make it a little smaller, 1.7 meters. After that, with the Tab key, we will go into the edit mode of the cube, and here we can work with its geometry. With Ctrl plus R, we create cuts. Scroll the mouse wheel, we see there are becoming more of them. And at the top, we see that right now we have 21 cuts. We click with the left mouse button once and one more time. And we do the exact same thing on the other side. Ctrl plus R, 21 cuts, click once and click a second time. And in this way, we subdivided our cube. Now let's switch to top view. Box select all the vertices at the top and press Ctrl plus G and choose the item assigned to new group. In this way, we created a new vertex group, and we will need it very soon. With the Tab key, we return to Object mode, go to the tab with Modifiers, and here we add the Subdivision Surface modifier to level 3, and choose the Simple mode so that it does not change our shape. Then we add a second modifier from the Deform category. It is called Displace. Here we need a texture. Let's immediately choose the direction along the Z-axis. Let's specify our vertex group that we just created. And here, let's create a new texture. Let's go to the tab with Textures. Here, let's select the type Clouds. We will remove the depth completely and raise the size parameter to a value of 0.5. Or you can leave it at the value of 0.25 as it was by default. And right now we need to apply the scale parameter because we changed the dimensions of our cube. We press Ctrl plus A scale. Everything here becomes a value of 1. And we see our noise already gives an absolutely different result. We return to the tab with Modifiers. And here we significantly reduce the strength down and get the following ripples on our water. It will be very good practice to name all the objects that we use and materials subsequently. We will rename this cube to water, and in this way, in the future, we will not get confused in our scene. We will have clear structures, collection names, and we will understand where we have what and where everything is located. We will create the sand from our water. We select our object, press Shift plus D, and with the right mouse button, leave it in the same place. We will immediately give it the name Sand, and we can rotate the camera and hold Alt. And in this way, we will snap to all kinds of views: top view, bottom view, side view. Or if you have a numpad keyboard, you can press 1s, 3s, and 7s on this keyboard, and in this way quickly change the view. Also, with this icon, we turn on perspective or orthography. In orthography mode, it is more convenient to model, and 5 on the numpad keyboard also quickly allows us to switch all this. And right now we have sand selected. In edit mode, we will clear with Alt plus A all selection, turn on transparency, select the bottom part, and press the H key to hide these vertices. Now we will be able to work only with the upper ones. We switch to top view. With a box, we select like this roughly a fourth part. We turn on proportional editing in sphere mode. We press G plus Z, and here our vertices are rising. And also, we spin the mouse wheel and adjust that amount of vertices that still needs to be captured, besides those that we have already selected. Well, roughly in the following way, we will raise this part. Now let's again on top view select the lower part. You can capture 2 lines each using Shift. And now G plus Z in the opposite direction. And we lower this part. Using Alt plus A, we remove the selection. Using Alt plus H, we bring back the hidden vertices. You can also once more using Alt plus A, remove selection from them. And here we created our basic shape. Now we will turn off transparency. return to Object Mode and see. Here our sand intersects with our water. Ugly artifacts appear. Therefore, we, selecting our sand, press S, Shift plus Z, and make it a little bit bigger. In this way, it comes outside for us, and here there is no longer this problem. Also, here at the bottom there is an artifact. You could also raise it or lower it a little bit down. The main thing is that two planes are not located in the same place, and here we got our result. For sand, the Displace modifier is not needed. We will just assign Shade Smooth for it. Right-click Shade Smooth, the exact same thing for our water. And also, we can here go to the local view of our sand in the View menu. View. Also local view or slash on the numpad keyboard. And we can rework this part here. We choose the Catmull-Clark mode. Everything will smooth out for us. And also we turn on sculpt mode, press shift, and here with the smooth brush we can smooth out all sections a little bit. Create a less uniform shape, because here in some sections everything is smooth, in others not quite even. And we got the following shape. We return to Object Mode, and the last thing that needs to be done is to add sharpness along the edges. When we turned on Catmull-Clark, in some places everything smoothed out, but in others we need to leave a sharp shape. Therefore, on Top View in Edit Mode, we will turn on Transparency again and box select all the edges of our object. And here we set Mean Crease to a value of 1. Again, we remove Selection. Turn off Transparency. We return to Object Mode and see that along the edges everything remains sharp, and here everything's smoothed out. We exit Local View with the exact same button, slash on the numpad keyboard, and here we now have both our sand and our water in the scene. Now let's hide everything unnecessary, add a cube into the scene again, and get busy with creating the house. For our cube, we will set the following dimensions. Along X, it will be 4 meters. Along Y for now 5, and in height 3 meters. This will be the base. Subsequently, we will most likely adjust it. In Edit Mode, we add one cut. Here you can switch to selection modes for vertices, edges, and faces. Also, you can press numbers 1, 2, 3, and quickly change these modes. And here in Mode 2, we select the edge, and on Front View, we press G plus Z, already without proportional editing. Once more G plus Z and raise all this up. This will be the base of our house. Now here with this edge, you can press Ctrl plus B, separate everything to the sides a little, and now in face selection mode, select 3 faces, duplicate them with Shift plus D, leave them in the same place with the right key, and press P and select the first item selection. Due to this, we separated this part into a separate object, and now we can work with it. We already go into the edit mode of this object. With Ctrl plus R, we add another cut here. And in vertex selection mode, we delete 1/2. And the second we will create using a modifier. In Object Mode, we assign the Mirror modifier along the X-axis and check the options so that in the center the vertices do not overlap. And also we add the Solidify modifier, and with its help give thickness to this object. Also in Edit Mode, we select the edge here. And if you press G twice, we can shorten our roof. And if you press Alt, then on the contrary, we can lengthen it and make it a little bigger. And now let's select this object completely. Press S plus Y and expand it a little. Subsequently, we will move all these proportions. While we have such a base, we can move further. We return to Object Mode and now select our base again. We go into Edit Mode. We select the corner vertex here, press Shift plus S, and transfer the 3D cursor here. And now, in Object Mode, we can add a cube anew, and it will be added for us already in this place. The house is symmetrical along many axes. Therefore, we will also assign a mirror modifier for this cube. As the mirror, we will specify our basic house. Its center is located in the center of this house. And now, along the X-axis, our cubes are reflected. And we check the Y option. And along the Y-axis, they are also mirrored. And we check the clipping option. And now we already work with these cubes. Well, first we make them a little smaller. Again, the proportions, if anything, we will edit. Well, roughly in the following way. Possibly, let's also raise it a little bit up. And now in Edit Mode, we duplicate this cube along the Y-axis a little to the side. We press S 0.7 and enter. In this way, we reduced it a little. And now we select this front face here. We press G plus Y and shift to the side, and then X and faces to delete that face which remained for us in the center of mirroring. Again, with the L key, we select the entire cube. In face selection mode, this works maximally conveniently. We duplicate already along the X-axis. Again, S 0.7, enter. And here we select this face and shift it a little along the X-axis to this side. Here in front will be our doors. With the L key, we select this part. With Shift plus D, we duplicate, rotate by 90, Position for now in this place, extend along the y-axis. The upper part we will raise, again for now by eye. And now we need to adjust the proportions a little. Most likely, we will take the lower part and along the x-axis make it just a little narrower. The upper one, possibly, also we will either make a little narrower and along the x-axis shift it a little to this side. We deselect everything. Again, we select this big cube, and we duplicate already along the z-axis, S0.7, enter. We select the top face. We raise it higher here. It is fine if it slightly intersects our roof. We will cover all this with tiles later here. And again, on front view, we select the whole part, duplicate, rotate, and connect them in the center. And along Z, we make this beam significantly smaller. And this right part here we move to the side. Again, here a small intersection is okay, and we adjust everything along the y-axis. We will extend all this a little, possibly to this side. And here in the center, a beam is also needed. You can make it even using the mirror modifier. We duplicate. With transparency, you can select this extreme part here. Along the x-axis, make it smaller. We will adjust the size here and along the y-axis. Right now, we created the base. We only need to separate the parts a little bit. Here at the bottom, we will subsequently have a different material. To make it easier to assign, we with the L key select this lower part here. We press P, selection. And in this way, this will be a separate object for us. And let's add the last cubes to the top and start adding a bevel. You can return with Shift plus S the cursor to the center. Again, we add a cube. We raise it up. We shift it here along the y-axis, make it smaller, and stretch it a little along the y-axis, and position it here in the front part. This same one we duplicate along the y-axis to this side, and one more time we duplicate it here to the center. And this one in edit mode, we again reduce by 0.7 and stretch it along the y-axis. You can leave this beam flat. You can rework it a little in edit mode using Ctrl plus R to add 3 cuts. G plus Z lower it a little, and then select the central one and also G plus Z lower it a little. Such small elements across all parts of your house will add variation. Because plain rectangular cubes don't look quite good, but you will have to spend significantly more time on them. Well, and now let's rework the roof a little. And now, when we see everything, S plus Y, we make it even a tiny bit bigger, roughly of the following dimensions. Well, and accordingly, possibly, these cubes we will separate along Y. Here, a beam seems to have remained. We take any cube, assign for it the Bevel modifier, 2 segments, default value, and then we select all those objects to which we also need to assign this modifier. In the last place, we select that object on which it already is, and copy it to all the other objects. Also, you can select everything, press Ctrl plus A, Scale. And here now for us, the scale has already been applied and the bevel works in the following way. And now already in the presence of the bevel, we see how all this looks, and can refine our objects a little. Here, we will adjust the beam wider. Possibly, we will select this part completely along the Z-axis. We will make it a little bigger. And already in such a mode, all this can be fine-tuned. Again, we will add a cube to the scene. We will create an extension with its help. Let's move it to the side. For now, we will make it smaller. And here on top view, we will shift it to this side. And now in edit mode, along Z, we will stretch it and lower it. Of such, we need 3 pieces. We, with Shift plus D, duplicate once and then one more time. And now from this same cube, you can select and on front view, duplicate, rotate by 90 degrees, make a little smaller, and also along the Z-axis, reduce and place in this area. We look on top view. Excellent. And now we duplicate down along the Z-axis. And here already, S plus Z. And we make this part a little bigger. We select both of these elements. We duplicate them along the Y-axis to this side. And one more time we duplicate. We rotate by 90 degrees and place here. This is one object for us. We will apply for it the scale parameter. We will assign for it the same bevel modifier. Let's just select and copy it. Copy to selected. We see what result we got. We look on side view. Seems not bad. Seems like we guessed right. Possibly, we can only here make these elements a little bigger. 1, 2, 3 raise up. S make the thickness bigger. And the exact same with the upper ones. Increase their thickness a little bit. Well, something like that. And now let me get busy with tiles. We will add a plane into the scene. Let's switch to top view, to its local view. And here in edit mode, we will select everything. We will press G plus X and move it with Control held down so that the center remains for us here from the left edge. And now we select only 2 vertices. We press Shift plus Control plus B, create a bevel, scroll the mouse wheel, and make a small rounding here roughly of the following shape. Now for this object, you can give thickness in object mode using the Solidify modifier. We add thickness. Subsequently, we will adjust it further after we apply scale. And we exit local view. We raise up this element of our tiles. Shift it to the side along the Y-axis. We make it significantly smaller. And right now, for now, by eye, we will duplicate them. We need roughly 11 of these elements. Therefore, we add the Array modifier, 0 along the x-axis and 1 along the y-axis, and we set the value 11 here. And here we look where for us it should be located. Accordingly, in edit mode, we press S plus Y. We make it a little smaller. Completely select the whole object. Once more, S plus Y. There, we reduce it. Just right adjusting all this. And now, after we adjusted everything, you can apply the scale parameter. Our thickness will change because of the fact that we applied it, but we here additionally can adjust it. We will leave it for now at a value of approximately 0.1. And we need to add variation as well. Right now, we perfectly duplicated these tiles. On real buildings, that's how it looks. But for us here for stylization, we need to add a little chaos. We will shift these elements a little along the x-axis. Perhaps here a value of 0.2. Possibly, that's a lot. Let's in value, possibly 0.1. Like this along the x-axis we will make, so that it was uneven here. Also, rotation along x and y, roughly we will add 5 degrees, also a small distortion. And scale roughly 0.1. We will have gaps appearing here, but at an angle, all this will look pretty good. And now we need to duplicate these same elements several times and add variation to them. You can duplicate on front view, shift to the side. Here also along Y, shift a little. And here there is a seed parameter. Every time we adjust it, for us all these values clear to a random value as well. And so we do this with all stages. Let's do this a few more times. Possibly, we will immediately duplicate already with the correct angle. Let's turn all this and lay out the tiles already the way we need. Just right, we will see the final results. And now we shift here along the y-axis to this side, here along the y-axis to the opposite. A little in checkerboard order we move them. Here already we can leave it. And also we adjust the seed. Here value 2. Here already we can put 3. Here 4, and here 5. And in this way we set up variation. And now we need to transfer these tiles to the other side. We select the first one. Here we will collapse these modifiers so that there was room. We add the mirror modifier along the x-axis, and as the object of mirroring, we specify the base of our house. And in such case, the modifier works excellently. And now we select everything else, then our tile, which already has the needed modifier, and copy all the others to the other side. And here with the help of the mirror modifier, everything copied for us. Right now, we created the house from a multitude of objects. Didn't give them names at all. Therefore, we will now select them all. We select the first one. With Shift, the last one. Press the key M, create a new collection, and name it House. And in this way, we essentially created a folder inside which are located all elements of our house. We can return into the scene everything that we already had before this and start positioning it here somehow. In principle, size-wise, it turned out pretty good. We right now possibly will reduce it a little. Let's rotate it a tiny bit here, start positioning it. Well, we look, it slightly doesn't fit for us. You can make it a little smaller. Scale for us will change, but for us, most likely, this is not critical. critical. We possibly will not even apply it, but if there are problems with this, we will return to it. Well, and here roughly in the following place in the following way we locate our house. It fit for us. And with this object, we also finished. Now let's get busy creating palms. We will immediately create a new collection. Let's call it Palm. We will hide everything unnecessary. And first, we will add a cylinder into the scene. For the standard 32 vertices, we will set filling to nothing, so that a face is not created here. In edit mode, we will make this part a little wider. With the E key, we will extrude. With the S key, we will bring everything to the center and G+Z raise it up a little. And here, with the help of Alt-left mouse button, we will select the ring completely. We will press Ctrl+B and create a small bevel here, and with the mouse wheel, adjust the number of segments. Here is such a basic shape. On front view, everything in edit mode can be selected. Press G+Z, raise and hold Ctrl so that snapping turns on, and our center ended up at the bottom. Now we need to duplicate these elements. We add the array modifier. We duplicate them upward along the Z axis. 7 elements we need. And now, with the help of a curve, we will curve this shape. We add a new object, Bezier curve. We will go into edit mode. Here, we will see it right now. On side view, we will rotate it by 90 degrees. With Ctrl held down, we also have snapping going in steps of 5 degrees. Then, on front view, we will rotate it by 90 degrees. And now, we will make it bigger. Raise it up. All this we do in edit mode, and we will adjust in such a way so that also the bottom control point was at the bottom. Well, and here our curve has the following shape. And now we take our base, add in the deform category the curve modifier, point with the eyedropper our curve, and see now what happened for us. Here, we changed the deformation axis to Z, and right now for us, everything is excellent, only everything works with exact opposite. We need to select our curve. You can select it in the outliner, go into edit mode, completely select with the key A, and here change its direction, switch direction. And now everything looks in the other direction for us. And already everything became much better. Now we can, with the help of the curve, change the shape of our object. Again, we select it, edit it somehow, change it, and our object curves. And we also need to additionally fine-tune the offsets. The scale parameter along all 3 axes for the array modifier we make a little smaller, roughly at a value of 0.93 or around that. And now, along the Z-axis we also reduce, so that they stacked on top of each other for us. And again, we select the curve, go into its edit mode, adjust the shape, the curvatures. The bottom segment perhaps can be left, and only with the top one tilt in one or another direction our palm. With the key S, we make these handles bigger or smaller, and thereby achieve the desired curvature angle. That was regarding the base of our palm. Now we will create a leaf. We remove everything unnecessary again. We add a plane into the scene. We will switch to top view and in edit mode, subdivide it vertically and horizontally. And now we will delete 3/4 and restore the shape using the mirror modifier along the X and Y axes with the clipping option. In edit mode here, we will add 3 cuts, turn on the move tool. It will be easier like this. We select a vertex, shift to the side, and so with each subsequent one, and we create the shape of our future leaf basic. And here, this vertex can be raised up. Also, with Ctrl+R, we will create one more cut here. And now, after we modeled our shape, now you can apply the modifier again. We press Apply, and now we have access to all of our geometry. And we here can select a vertex, press the V key, and move it to the side. For example, raise this one up, flatten this one here. The same thing applies here. We press V, raise it here and somewhere in the center, 1 and 2. In this way, we cut here and create the following element. Now, being in object mode, to concentrate around our leaf, comfortably rotate, you can press the period on the numpad keyboard, or in the View menu, select the item Frame Selected. That is the same thing. And here now again in edit mode, we select everything. On side view, we shift everything along the Y-axis. We make it so that the extreme vertex was located in the center of our object. And then we select the central vertex, turn on proportional editing, press G+Z and raise all this. Adjust the radius and thereby curve the shape of our leaf. Well, roughly in the following way you can adjust this. Let's take an even bigger radius and here, possibly, curve it in this way. After this, we turn off proportional editing and on the same side view, lower everything down. We keep the center here in the corner. Further, for us this will be very convenient. And here it is, the basic shape is already present. Now for the leaf, we add the Solidify modifier to give it thickness. We adjust it. Again, for now by eye. Later, when the whole palm will be visible, it will be possible to adjust this. Right key, shade smooth. And besides the Solidify modifier, we add the Array modifier. We replace its type to circle. The number of leaves we increase to 6, and as usual, randomization is needed. Rotation along all axes we randomize by 10 degrees, scale roughly to 0.3 and possibly offset along the z-axis. Well, a little bit you can adjust. And now we return our base. We switch to any of the views, raise this part up, rotate, enlarge, position somewhere in this area, and look what sizes our palm should be for us. Well, roughly for now we will adjust like this, possibly lower it a tiny bit lower still. And then with Shift plus D we duplicate this part one more time upward, and here we rotate it by some angle. We press R and simply rotate a little. Seed also can be adjusted several times and set up another variation of our palm. At any moment, these elements can be moved around, adjusted, tuned up. For now, we will stop on this view. And that's all. Here for us, we can collapse this collection. We return everything else into our scene. Completely with the right mouse button, we select our palm. And now, look, if we select the base, press G and move it, the base moves for us, but the curve remains in place. To make it more convenient to select, we can select here the cylinder, our curve, and then press Ctrl plus P and select the first item, object. In this way, the curve will attach to our object, and already now, simply by selecting the base, we move it together with the curve, and our shape does not change. And in this way, it is much simpler for us to select these elements and move them. And here now, we position them here already. Somehow, make smaller. We place here on our ground. Well, roughly like this. Along the y-axis, you can shift this a little to the side here. Completely select all elements of the palm. With Alt plus D, we duplicate the second tree. Rotate it to another arbitrary angle and also position it here in our scene. Subsequently, possibly, we will rotate more, fine-tune our objects. And at the current stage, probably, we need to rework our house a little bit. Height-wise, the roof can be raised a little bit. Let's quickly do this now. We will select several elements here. Raise them up along the z-axis a little bit. Then we will select our tiles. Right now, we for now also will just raise them up. Later, we will fine-tune their angle a little bit. And now these elements here with transparency, we will select this face. We will press G plus Z, raise it up. And in the same way, we will adjust this part, G plus Z. We raise all this up. So, seems like it turns out not bad. And now we need to only lay back down our tiles. The angle here will already be a little different. We lower it. We select the following elements, lower them. Here, possibly, it is even worth turning further. We press R, Y, and once more Y. And this angle turns for us in the exact same way here, R twice Y. And it turns all according to the angle we need. Well, like this, the house already looks a little better. Our palms are a tiny bit lower than our house. The rotation angle, if necessary, we will fine-tune. Well, and seems like it turns out not bad. R plus Z, you can still rotate a little bit. Also here at the top, you can individually rotate the leaves themselves so that they were located on this palm a little under another angle. Possibly, here a tiny bit fine-tune, but here already subsequently under our camera, we will fine-tune all this. For now, we will leave as is and there subsequently finish it. Let's proceed to creating the dock. We collapse this collection, create a new one, call it dock, and with this collection selected into it, we add a cube. We will raise it higher, switch to top view. We place it in this place. And for us, the width of this cube will be a little more than 2 meters, somewhere 2.5. Along Y we adjust, and of course, along Z also adjust the thickness of our plank. Let's for now position it somewhere here. Immediately we will assign for it the Bevel modifier 2 segments. Apply the scale parameter. We see what turns out, and further we duplicate with the help of the array modifier. Here 0, here -1, you can even a little bit more. 5 planks. Well, roughly to the following sizes we will have our dock. Not bad. And as usual, variation is needed. Offset along 2 axes can be adjusted a little. Rotation along the Z-axis make a small one. That is, essentially, the bridge should be straight, but at the same time not completely, so that it was visible a little how these boards duplicate. After this, we switch to top view in edit mode, duplicate our bridge. We press P, selection, move all this into a separate object. We return to object mode, and already for this bridge, the array modifier we delete. And now in edit mode, we select, rotate by 90, position here. We make bigger along the Y-axis and lower down along the Z-axis. Here we duplicate to this side, and one more time we duplicate upward along the Z-axis. And this plank, additionally, we will make smaller along the Z-axis. We will position it here. And now, in edge selection mode, here we will press G twice, shift the edge. And here we will select the edge, press Ctrl plus B, and split the following angle. Exact same way here, G twice, shift it a little, select this edge, Ctrl plus B, and set up the bevel. Now both these given elements we will select, turn them a little, press R, raise our bridge a tiny bit so that it wasn't completely flat, and also add a cylinder here. Standard 32 vertices without filling. We move it to this area. Make it smaller. We look at all this on front view. We will turn on transparency using Alt plus Z. And in edit mode, we will make the cylinder bigger. Raise it up, and in vertex selection mode, select only the lower part and make this part a little narrower. And now we select completely and duplicate it along the X-axis to the side. And in this way, for us, this part is ready. You can also raise them a little bit up further. G plus Z and raise. These elements are there. And now again we will add a cylinder, but already for 8 vertices. 8 vertices on top view. Let's select it. Again, we transfer it to the needed area, raise it up along the Z-axis, and already in edit mode, now we will rework. Here for us, we forgot to turn off so that faces were not created. We can select them, delete them ourselves, they are not needed. And now we work with this cylinder, position it in this place. We take the top part, using Alt, completely select the ring, raise higher, make this part a little wider. And now extrude S. Bring in a little, raise up. Once more S. And you can lower a little. And at the end, face grid fill. Well, roughly the following element we created. And now, this same one can be duplicated several more times. Shift plus D, duplicate. Here, rotate by some angle. And once more, Shift plus D. And here, rotate the central ones. You can even curve it a little to one of the sides. And we need to create a rope for this bridge. We add in the curve category a circle. Again, top view. We transfer it to the needed area. Raise higher and make smaller. Now we will adjust these rings around our elements. Duplicate into this part and into this. For now, approximately. Also, we need here to lower along Z, possibly shift along Y. Turn a little. The exact same applies to this part. And now we add a Bezier curve. We will press slash on the numpad keyboard to switch to its local view. And here in edit mode, first we align it with the help of Control. Then again, we press R and somewhere by 30 degrees this curve. And again, R and by 30 degrees the next one. We got an arc. And now we exit local view. Raise higher. Rotate by 90 degrees, first on side view and then on top view by another 90 degrees, and already position in the place needed for us. We look how all this looks. Rotate and duplicate once more and into this area. At the current stage, we select all curves and with Ctrl+J, combine them into one object. Also, we will apply scale immediately and go to the Curve tab. And in the Geometry menu, the depth parameter we will start adjusting. And in this way, we will adjust the thickness for our rope. Well, and here, roughly, it turned out. To achieve ideal results, you will fine-tune all this. I will leave everything as is. And on this, we finished with our bridge as well. Now we can select these elements perhaps and press right key, Shade Smooth. For our bridge and supports, we can assign Auto Smooth. Also, we select completely the palms, right key, Select Objects, Auto Smooth, and completely select our house. First, we clear from all selection, then right key, Select Objects, and here also Shade Auto Smooth. Well, and our sand with water. Also, Auto Smooth just in case. In this way, we have already set up shading for all objects that are created, and further, we can work with all this. Now, let's get busy creating stones. We create a new collection, call it Stones. And first into this collection, we will create one small stone. This will be a cube. We will lower it down. Let's right away in Edit mode make it significantly smaller. We will assign for it the Subdivision Surface modifier to level 2. We will switch to its local view, right key, Shade Smooth, and also in Edit mode, select one edge and shift it a little to the side so that it didn't have an ideal shape. Everything is there. Also, we adjust its size. Well, roughly of the following sizes. I think, for now, not bad. At any moment, you can adjust. Once more, Scale. And now we take, hide our water, select our sand, and for it, add the Scatter on Surface modifier. And here, for us distribution mask, we need to specify our own vertex group. We will create a new vertex group, call it Stones. And here for the modifier, we will specify it. And now, in Weight Paint mode. Weight for us, well, 1, you can put a value of 0.5. We draw here anywhere. We see our cubes appear. Subsequently, these will be our pebbles. We will now specify them. Here we see what result turns out. Everything is good. Only the pebbles stick to each other. Therefore, we will choose Poisson mode, and the minimum distance for stones we will increase. And also, we will increase their number. And right now, we will paint in various places. They will appear for us just depending on the weight and quantity that we specify for the parameter density. A different number of our stones will appear. Also, in the Transform menu, of course, you can put randomization by size. And weight, let's add, after all, to a value of 1. Possibly, density will be a little higher. And we will paint our pebbles. So, and again, we will adjust these values. We will return to object mode. We see how all this looks. We add the number of stones, remove, and here we look what result turns out. Here, you can adjust everything for a very long time. There are many parameters in the modifier, but I think you understood the essence. And now we bring back our water and create big stones, all in that same collection. Again, we add a cube. Here, we will already raise it higher, and with these stones, everything will be simpler. Bevel modifier to 2 segments, and we will position these cubes somewhere and change their shape a little bit. Make smaller. We take some edge, let's say twice G. Lower it, also some other one, also twice G. We give it the following shape and position. We adjust scale so that the bevel was uniform. And already from this cube, you can duplicate another. Turn it under some different angle. In Edit mode, you can make it smaller. Select everything and also individually work with the edges. Well, and in this way, we add several more big stones. And the last thing that we will model, most likely, is we will add small bushes. We name a new collection Bush. And we will create them roughly the same way as we created our palm on local view, on top view. Let's right now immediately several times subdivide our plane. We will turn on individual centers here and will select like this 2 edges, press S and bring together. It will be, probably, faster like this than creating the mirror modifier. We create the shape of our leaf. The last edge here, Ctrl+R, we add a cut. And like this, we separate everything. Here, we return median point. Select the central vertex, turn on proportional editing. G+Z adjust. Create a bigger curvature for this leaf, and in edit mode, also return it to this area. Proportional editing can be turned off. Got the following shape. Here, Shade Auto Smooth. We add thickness to it with the Solidify modifier. And now we will rework with the help of the Array modifier. Let's probably position it in the following way. And we add here the Array modifier in Circle Mode 5 and Randomization. So, well, here, most likely, also by scale, you can somewhere to a value of 0.5. Along Z rotation, you can. Along X, you can. Along Y, probably no longer worth it. And here also you can diverge into some side. And here you can spread them a little from the center, and in the following way, we will get it. That's all. We exit local view, position the first element. Let me somewhere in this area, make it smaller, raise up. We look how it turns out for us here. You can do a tiny bit bigger still. And now we duplicate to this side. Rotate to some angle, you can adjust the seed. In this way, get a new, unique object. And fine-tune. So here also adjust the seed. Lower all this lower down. And one more into this corner, also set up another seed. Rotate. Well, roughly something like that. That's all. And with this, we also finished. All objects for us are structured, named, shadings are assigned. And the last thing that we will add is into the general collection, we will add a plane. This will be our floor, and also it can be lowered down so that our sand was located on our plane. And now we can get busy with setting up the environment and materials of our objects. Here also we will give a name. We will make the lower timeline window bigger, and the upper 3D view window we will divide into 2 parts. On the left, we will still keep our viewport, and on the right, we will now remove the toolbar with the T key, the sidebar with the N key, turn off widgets, overlays, and turn on render view. We will render on the Cycles engine. If possible, choose a graphics card. For this, go to Settings, System tab, and if a graphics card is available to you, select the corresponding graphics card and check it. And in such case, on the graphics card, the process will happen much faster. We check noise reduction on the graphics card, and at the very bottom in the color management menu, high contrast parameters are set. In this way, right now we see our scene in the following way, because only a gray world shines on it. And we now in the shader editor will switch to world setup mode. We will fine-tune it. Also, in the settings on the tab with add-ons, find the add-on Node Wrangler and activate it. In such case, for you, the hotkey Ctrl+T will work, and here you will be able to load the environment. The HDRI map will be available via the link under this video, so download it and load it here. It will be named courtyard.exr. We open, and here rotation along Z. We set 200 degrees, and in this way, the HDRI map will shine in the following way. Right now, when light appeared in the scene, immediately all flaws are visible. Well, firstly, the floor needs to be raised a little along the Z-axis. We raise it a tiny bit so that our scene was located on the floor. And also a gap here near the house is visible. Therefore, we take this top part, take 3 top faces, and also along the Z-axis, raise them up. All this is there. Now we switch here to adjust materials of objects. We select our water and create a new material. And also name it. We give all names to materials. Like this, it will be much easier for us. Transmission parameters we increase to 1. Roughness we remove to 0. And here essentially we already have water, and it remains to give it some color. We take some turquoise color here, set it up. Right now it is turquoise for us, closer to blue, but when we will be setting up yellow sand, it will automatically become green for us. When setting up materials, everything affects how they will behave. What environment we have, what materials and objects are around, what parameters are here. And adjusting one of the parameters completely changes the appearance of our object. Now we select our sand, create a new material for it, name it sand. And here also select principled BSDF. We press Ctrl+T and immediately a chain appears for us. And here for us, we need to move it away, disconnect it from base color. And right now, we will be connecting the normal map to the normal input. We press Shift+A. Find here in the displacement menu, Normal Map, and load the normal map for the sand. It will be at the exact same link as the HDRI and environment. Aerial Beach, it is named. Connect to color, normal to normal. We see what result turns out. And here, let's right away set up some yellowish tint. Well, somewhere at a value roughly following. Here around such colors. And now the strength we will significantly reduce to a value of 0.3. Here type we will put non-color. Scale we will reduce to 0.5. And here we see what waves turn out for us here. Let's probably raise the denoising quality a little bit. Possibly, like this the picture will be cleaner. On preview, everything looks very bad. And now, when we already see both our sand and our water, apparently the color changed. We have many darkened areas here. Therefore, we here into the scene collection using Shift+A will add a sun light source. The location of this lamp does not affect anything, but we will raise it higher. Like this, it will simply be easier to work with it. We will rotate it a little in the direction of our house, and on the lamp tab, set up its strength. We will raise it to a value of 1.7, angle to a value of 20. In this way, the shadows will be maximally blurred. We will practically not see them. Well, and here now we have fewer darkened areas. We better see our scene, and subsequently, we'll be able to refine all this. For now, we will stop like this. Sun is there, sand material we set up. When all shaders in the scene will be appearing, possibly, we will return to those or other ones and additionally refine them. For that same sand roughness can be raised to a value of 1, so that it maximally didn't give off any glare. Further, we select the beams of our house, create for them a new material. Let's call it wood. Here, roughness we raise to a value of 0.6 and we'll set up some orange color. Let me take some value here. Here, roughly 0.1. Well, roughly in the following way. And now, we will now create a material for our bevels. For this, we will go to the Materials tab. We create a second slot. Here, you can select our material wood, and then copy it and give it another name. For example, wood_bevel. And so that on the bevels another material appeared for us, we for the bevel modifier in the shading material menu, material index set 1. In this way, this is index 0 for us, this is 1. And that material which we set up here, it will be used. We take this color here, make it a little lighter. And here we immediately see what result turned out for us on our bevels. To assign this material to other similar elements, we will select them all now using Shift. In the last place, we select that object on which the material already is. We press Ctrl+L, Material, and it is assigned to everything for us. But bevel needs to be fine-tuned. Therefore, we take and fine-tune the bevel modifier for other objects. Also here, it is visible now the boards slightly didn't reach. Again, this can be adjusted. We select these edges, G plus Y, once more Y. No, twice X along the local X-axis. And we slide all this inside. Here for the roof also, you can simply assign the material wood. And now we take the lower element, create a new material. Let's call it house_base. Here also roughness 0.6, and we set up color here. Again, shift a little to the orange side. And here, we will look for some gray color. Well, roughly following. And the exact same thing we do with bevels. Materials, second slot, house_base. We copy and call the copy bevel. On the tab with modifiers for the bevel modifier, we specify the first index and again, make this element lighter. Well, like this, literally a tiny bit. Here already with colors you will play around. Also, the base of our house. Let's also name house. Here, you can simply set roughness 0.6 and slightly give some yellowish color. Literally a tiny bit, simply so that it wasn't white, and leave everything like that. And now, let's get busy with our tiles. We name the material roof. And here, one color won't be enough for us. We will add the following node color ramp. We will press Ctrl+T on it. Here, this node we will delete via X and reconnect what we have left. Here we connect generated coordinates. Here all this into base color. And right now, we see such a light gradient diagonally. If we turn along the Z-axis all this by 45 degrees, then our gradient will go from top to bottom. And we will set up two colors here. Well, let's take the first one, some following blue, and the second slider, let's copy for it with Ctrl+C the color, with Ctrl+V paste, and shift it a little to another side, into turquoise. And we got such a very light gradient. We select all objects. In the last place, that one which already has the material, Ctrl+L, link materials. That's all. This material was assigned to all objects. Roughness also we will raise to a value of 0.6. And here, essentially, with the house we finished. It has basic colors. And we will set up the following objects. Now let's get busy setting up materials of palms. First, we take the base. Create a new material. Let's call it wood_2. Here for us, we will need the base color from our main material. Let's copy it via Ctrl+C. And insert here for now as a base. We press Ctrl+T, remove this extra node. And here we now will be mixing two procedural textures. We take the wave texture and one more texture, noise. Connect coordinates to one texture and to the other. Here you can select the generated type, and we will mix them with the help of the Mix Color node. Connect factor to A, factor to B, and here set mode to linear light. Let's plug all this into base color. We will see what result. Here we change the axis to Z, and now adjust the scale parameter, and thereby set up how many of which bands we should have. Well, let's for now leave roughly a value of 0.6, and here also adjust the scale parameter and set up distortion. And so that it was more rigid for us, we will add color ramp in constant mode. We will slide the white slider, and here we see what turns out for us. And right now for us, we simply need to restore our colors. Again, we take one more Mix Color node. This color we will copy here, plug in as factor. And now for us, both colors mix, and we can from here already copy the second color, again via Ctrl+C, and here via Ctrl+V paste it, so as not to set up a new. And that's all. Essentially, set up the exact same as there, but there for us it was created right along the bevel. And here we with procedural materials reworked all this a little bit. Here you will adjust scale parameters and achieve the desired result. To the second palm, everything already duplicated. Excellent. Roughness can be raised to 0.6. And now let's get busy with leaves. Let's call palm. And here again we add color ramp. Again, Ctrl+T. For us, we will need, most likely, coordinates. Connect all this as color. We see, from the center emanates the following lighting for us, and we now will be setting up colors. Well, first let's get busy with the first color. Here let's go somewhere into green shades. Let me 0.4, 0.5, and somewhere 0.6. This color we will copy, move to the second, and make it a little lighter. We move sliders here. Here we already see what result turns out. Roughness can be left at a value of 0.5. And now let's assign all this right now for the second leaves as well. They will duplicate for us. Well, and here overall, we already essentially got the final result. Now we move sliders, set up desired colors, adjust roughness if necessary. It can be made either bigger or smaller. You can try a value of 0.4, possibly. Here already you will look how the scene looks, and in this way set up shaders for our palms. Now we will assign material to our bushes. We will not create a new one. We will assign the same that we assigned for our palms. Here also some gradient will appear. Overall, it will look pretty good. Let's switch to our bridge. Here we will use wood_2. It also lays down pretty well. You can, if desired, refine it, but for time-saving purposes, we will simply assign the needed material to the needed objects. Also, we will select 3 here. Yes, you need to assign to each individually or via Ctrl plus L. And now we will set up the material for our rope. Here we already create a new one, call it rope. And here using Ctrl plus T we add image, remove. And here for us we need again procedural texture wave and node color ramp. Connect all this as factor. Here doesn't matter color, not color. We connect to base color, and here right now we already immediately see the result. We here with the help of the node constantly adjust the transition. Here with the scale parameter we adjust the number of bands that should be, and now when we have everything, we simply add mix color as factor. And we need to paint all this into some colors. Well, let's take yellow. So 14. Saturation. Also raised to a value roughly 0.5. Value in the following way. Let me duplicate all this and here move to the side a little bit. Let's look how this overall looks. Well, such a yellow-gray rope. Seems like it turns out not bad. And the last thing that we have left is our stones. Let me concentrate on them. We create a new material, let me call it stone. Here roughness we will raise to a value of 0.6 and color set here 0.1, saturation also 0.1, and here we drop down roughly to a value of 0.6. And now we create a second slot. We select our material, stone, create a copy, call it stone_bevel. Immediately for the bevel modifier, we assign the first slot, and here it needs to be lightened a little bit. Or let's raise value. Well, like this roughly in the following way. And now we need to duplicate all this. We select all stones again via Shift. In the last place, that one which has material, link material, and also duplicate Ctrl plus L modifiers so as not to manually retype the slot everywhere. And now we need to refine them a little bit. Let's make this part smaller. Here, probably, enlarge them, make this stone bigger. Also this bush. Shift a little along the Y-axis together with this stone, and here, make bigger. Also here, for us tiles stick out a little. Let's select this part, adjust the seed. Well, here at value 10, everything became much better. Also, you can rotate our palms a little still. Let me take this palm here, rotate it along the Z-axis. And now let's take only the upper part and rotate somehow in the following way. So, and for this palm, perhaps, we will do roughly the exact same, rotate, well, and can leave. And the last pebble for us is at the bottom. We select it and assign stone for it. The next dark material. That's all. It was assigned for us to all pebbles and they got painted. At the current stage, all objects for us are painted. The house we, most likely, will return back to white color. For it, in principle, it was possible not to assign material at all. Well, and overall, our scene is already ready. And now final tweaks before performing the render. Well, in the first place, we will add a camera to the scene. Into the scene collection, using Shift plus A, we add a camera. Using Ctrl plus Alt plus numpad 0 on the numpad keyboard, you can immediately switch to camera view. And here on the camera tab, change its mode to orthographic. We adjust the scale parameter and just right set up what our camera will see. If you check this icon, we can navigate in the 3D view window and thereby move our camera. And here additionally, adjust scale, set up camera. Also on the output tab, you can set up resolution. By default, here is standard Full HD. You can set a more square resolution or start reducing. Here, well, let's say, down to 1500 and here round 1000 pixels and get the following image. And already here now adjust scale. Right here in the render window, if you press 0, we again will switch to camera view. And here we see what render turns out for us in the end. Everything that falls into the frame that we will get on the final image. You can raise it up a tiny bit like this. rotate, and look at our scene in the following way. And now, when we already see the render, we can additionally fine-tune all this. Well, in the first place, let's also add here one more point light bulb on front view. Shift it a little to the side, and on the lamp tab, increase its radius to 10 and raise its strength to 1000. In this way, it will lighten our scene a little for us. Also here, this part, you can select all three elements. Press S plus Y and make them a little wider. And now S plus X, and once more X, and along the X-axis stretch a little and make them more massive. That is done. As far as palms were concerned, you can select the palm and on the Modifier tab, adjust the thickness, make it a little bigger. Well, raise somewhere to a value, possibly 0.1. Let's copy this value and paste it for all palms. Now we take our dock and raise its roughness to 1. Like this, it will be more contrasty for us. Also, we have a bevel material for wood here. And standard wood also raise roughness to 1. On the Render tab, you can raise high contrast to very high. Like this, the scene will become even more contrasty. We select our sand. Color here also can be made more intense, roughly the following. And right now, we will adjust our texture again now. Adjust its scale to 1.5, possibly, and make strength bigger. Like this, waves will be more distinctly visible on our sand. Now we switch to water. First, you can remove the waves a little for the Displace modifier. Switch to the Textures tab, and here raise size to a value of 0.5. Waves will become bigger, and there won't be as many of them as there were before this. You can, well, here to each their own taste, adjust how you like it more, and you can refine the material. We add the Color Ramp node. With Ctrl+T, we add coordinates to it. And if we, with Ctrl, Shift, and left mouse button click on Preview, we see what gradient turns out for us. We turn on here Generated Texture and can adjust colors. Let's slide the white slider here and possibly rotate. As the first color, we take our already set up one. Let's move it here. And the second one can be made a little darker. And now we look how all this overall looks. Connect. We see water for us became darker. We can adjust this transition here. Possibly, we will put a soft gradient. Let's like this, it will be even clearer. Here we leave in the corner. Here we adjust it and connect in the following way. The water became a little darker and not so uniform. Before performing the render, definitely save. In the File menu, press Save to save your project. You never know, during render, Blender might crash or something else will go wrong, so that all your work was saved. Go to the Render tab. Here for render, already by default, everything is set up pretty well. Check the GPU option in case you have a graphics card, and the sample count can be dropped to 1024 so that the render happened a little faster. This quality will be sufficient. On the Output tab, we already set up resolution. By default, everything will be in PNG format, and press Render Image or F12 and wait for the end of rendering. Depending on the power of your computer, this process will take some time. For me, it took 20 seconds. For you, it can be both 2 times less and 10 times longer. Everything depends on what you render on and what computer you have. And after you got a picture here, you press Image, Save As, and choose the folder into which you will save your final image. On this, we will end this lesson.